ओकासवन्दामि भन्ते वार्तयेन कथं सब्बम् अपराधं खमतु मे भन्ते द्वितीयम्पि ओकासवन्दामि भन्ते द्वारतयेन कथं सब्बम् अपराधं खमतु मे भन्ते तृतीयम्पि ओकासवन्दामि भन्ते द्वारतयेन कथं सब्बम् अपराधं खमतु मे भन्ते तर आवाज येतोय?
Yes, येत आहे.
शिली अर्चना हाँ ओकास अहं भन्ते तिसरनेन सहं सतिम् आजीव अट्ठमकशीलं धम्मं याचामि अनुगहं कत्वा शीलं देत मे भन्ते द्वितीयम्पि ओकास अहं भन्ते तिसरनेन सहं सतिम् आजीव अट्ठमकशीलं धम्मं याचामि अनुगहं कत्वा शीलं देत मे भन्ते तृतीयम्पि ओकास अहं भन्ते तिसरनेन सहं सतिम् आजीव अट्टमकशीलं धम्मं याचामि अनुगहं कत्वा शीलं देत मे भन्ते
यमहं वदामि तं वदेतः
भन्ते
नमो तस् भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स
नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
संघं शरणं गच्छामि
संघं शरणं गच्छामि
द्वितीयम्पि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
द्वितीयम्पि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
द्वितीयम्पि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
द्वितीयम्पि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
द्वितीयम्पि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
द्वितीयम्पि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
तृतीयम्पि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
तृतीयम्पि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
तृतीयम्पि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
तृतीयम्पि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
तृतीयम्पि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
तृतीयम्पि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
शरणागमनं सम्पूर्णम्
भन्ते
पाणातिपाता वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि
पाणातिपाता वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समादियामि
अदिन्नादाना वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि
अदिन्नदाना वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समादियामि
कामेषु मिच्छाचारा वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि
कामेषु मिच्छाचारा वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समादियामि
Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhyami.
Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Pisuna Vacha Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhyami.
Pisuna Vacha Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Parusa Vacha Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhyami.
Parusa Vacha Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Sampappalapa Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhyami.
Sampappalappa Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Micha Ajiva Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhyami.
Michha Jiva Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Tisaranena Saddhing Ajivatmaka Silang Dhammang Sadhukang Surakitang Katva Apamaden Sampade Tabbang.
Ven Bhante Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Our homage to the worthy one, the fortunate one, the fully enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu. Dear listeners, today is the third sermon on Mahaparinibbana Sutta. This is the last sermon, the last sutta, what Lord Buddha had preached in his last times. So, in that time, the Blessed One addressed the devotees of Patali thus: the immoral man, householders, by falling away from virtue, encounters 5 perils: great loss of wealth through heedlessness, an evil reputation, a timid and troubled demeanor in every society, be in that of nobles, Brahmins, householders, or ascetics. Death in bewilderment, and at the breaking up of the body after death, rebirth in a realm of misery, in an unhappy state, in the netherworld, in hell. That means the fruits of immoral life. First thing, if someone is away from the virtue, and if he always breaking the precepts, he have to face a great loss of wealth, and he will lose his reputation. and always he becomes some fear when he going to speak in front of nobles, Brahmins, and higher people, and at least in householders. He always has a fear. And he have to die without mindfulness. And he will become in an unhappy place after his death. Those are the 5 fruits of immoral life. But 5 blessings accrue to the righteous man through his practice of virtue, great increase of wealth, through his diligence, a favorable reputation, a confident department without timidity in every society, be it that of nobles, Brahmins, householders, or ascetics, a serene death, and at the breaking up of the body after death, rebirth in a happy state in a heavenly world. But those are the 5 moral fruits, the fruits of moral life. His wealth will increase, he will have a favorable reputation, and he is always confident to speak in front of nobles or ascetics or Brahmins or householders. There is no fear. And he will die always with the mindfulness. And after the death, he will become in a heavenly world. And the blessed ones spend much of the night, instructing the devotees of Pataligama in the Dhamma, rousing, edifying, and gladdening them. After which he dismissed them, saying, "The night is far advanced, householders. You may go at your convenience." So be it, Lord. And the devotees of Pataligama rose from their seats, respectfully saluted the Blessed One, and keeping their right sides towards him, departed. And the Blessed One, soon after their departure, returned into privacy. At that time, Sunita and Vasakara, the chief ministers of Magadha, were building a fortress at Patligama in defense against the Vajjis. Vajjis mean another country, same in India. And deities in large numbers, counted in thousands, had taken positions of sites of Pataligama. In their region were, where deities of great power prevailed, officials of great power were bent on constructing edifices. And where deities of medium power and lesser power prevailed, officials of medium and lesser power were bent on constructing edifices. Now, the chief ministers of Magadha, Minister Suninda and Minister Vasakara, they're going to build a huge fort in Pataligama for the defense against the Vajjis. In that time, Pataligama is a village, Patali village. There is thousands of deities around the Patali village. So the much more powerful deities like to where the most powerful deities live, the higher officials like kings, ministers, they feel to make their houses around those places. And for where the medium gods are living, the medium officials feel to build their houses in those places. Where the less powerful deities live, the lesser powerful officials feel to build their accommodations in those places. And the Blessed One saw the heavenly eye, pure and transcendenting, the faculty of men and deities, counted in thousands, where they had taken position on site in Pataliga. And rising before the night was spent towards dawn, the Blessed One addressed the Venerable Ananda thus: Who is it, Ananda, that is erecting a city at Pataligam? Firstly, the Blessed One has seen what going to happen from his heavenly eye. After that, he asking from Venerable Ananda, who is going to erecting a city at Pataligam. And so he is replying, Sunita and Vasakara, Lord, the chief ministers of Magadha, are building a fortress at Pataligam in defense against the Vajjayas. It is Ananda, as if Sunita and Vasakara had taken counsel with the third gods of the 33, for I beheld Ananda with the heavenly eye, pure and transcending the faulty of men, a large number of deities, counted in thousands, that have taken positions of sites at Pataligam. In the region where deities of great power prevail, officials of great power are bent on constructing edifices. And where the deities of medium and lesser power and prevail, officials of medium and lesser power are bent on constructing edifices. Truly, Ananda, as far as the Aryan race extends and trade routes spread, this will be the foremost city, Pataliputra, a trade center. But Pataliputra Ananda will be assailed by three perils: fire, water, and dissension. Pataliputra means the capital of Magadha. It has three perils: from fire, water, and dissension. Because they are going to they are going against with maybe they are going against with the Vajjis. Vajjis are very good people in that time. They respect the precepts and they rule their country with according to Lord Buddha's teachings and so on. Then Sunita and Vasakara went to the Blessed One, and after courteous greeting to the Blessed One and exchanging many pleasant words, they stood at one side and addressed him thus: May the Venerable Gautama please accept our invitation for tomorrow's meal, together with the community of bhikkhus, and the Blessed One consented by his silence. Knowing the Blessed One's consent, Sunidha and Vasakara departed for their own abodes, where they had choice food, hard and soft, prepared. And when it was time, they announced to the Blessed One, "It is time, Venerable Gautama, and meal is ready." Thereupon, the Blessed One got ready in the forenoon, and taking bowls and robe, he went together with a community of bhikkhus to the abode of Sunida and Vasakara, where he took the seat prepared for him. The Sunida and Vasakara themselves attended on the community of bhikkhus headed by the Buddha, and served them with choice food, hard and soft. When the Blessed One had finished his meal and had removed his hand from the bowl, they took low seats and sat down at one side. And the Blessed One thanked them with these stanzas. Yasmin padhe se kappeti vasang pandita jatiyo Silavantetha bhojetva sanyate brahmacharyo ya tattha devata asum tasang dakkhinamadise ta pujita pujayanti manitha manayantinang tato nang anukampanti mata puttang va orasang devatanu kampito poso sadha badrani pasati. That means, wherever he may dwell, the prudent man ministers to the chaste and virtuous, and having to these worldly ones many gifts, he shares his merits with the local devas. And so, revealed, they honor him in turn, are gracious to him even as a mother. He is towards her only son, and he who thus enjoys the devas' grace and is by them beloved, good fortune sees. The wise man, a prudent man, give the dana to the ascetics, the monks, and after all these good things, he transfers the merits to the gods. So God will so happy. So they again honor back to them, are gracious to him. That means gracious to us as a mother who loved towards her only son. So Lord Buddha asking us to share the merits with gods after each and every meritorious things. After this, the Blessed One rose from his seat and departed. Then Sunita and Vasakara followed behind the Blessed One, step by step, saying, through whichever gates the recluse Gautama will depart today, that we will name the Gautama gate. And the ford by which he will cross the river Gangas shall be named the Gautama ford. And so it came to pass where the gate was concerned. But when the Blessed One came to the river Gangas, it was full of the brim, so that crows could drink from it. And some people went in search of a boat or float, while others tied up a raft because they desired to get across. But the Blessed One, as quickly as a strong man might stretch out his bent arm or drone his outstretched arm, vanished from this side of the river Gangas and came to stand on the yonder side. Vanished from here, and he arose in the another side of the river. And the Blessed One saw the people who desired to cross, searching for a boat or float, while others were binding rafts. And the Blessed One, seeing them thus, gave forth this solemn utterance as this way. Ye taranti annavang sarang setung katwana visajja palallani kulanhi jano bandati tinna medhavino jana. That means they who have bridged the ocean vast, leaving the lowlands for behind, while others will their frail rafts bind, are sold by wisdom unsurpassed. The normal people doing so many things. They're binding rafts, searching for a boat, so many things can do. But the wise person sees the craving and the fermentations, asavas, and he overcome from the river of craving, river of sansara, without searching anything. While the ministers and other people searching for a boat, Lord Buddha and the monks in the another side. So now we are going to the next part, the journey to Vesali. Now the Blessed One spoke to the Venerable Ananda, saying, "Come, Ananda, let us go to Kotigama, the Koti village." "So be it, Lord." The Blessed One took up his abode at Kotigama together with a large community of bhikkhus. And the Blessed One addressed the bhikkhus, saying, "Bhikkhus, it is through not realizing, through not penetrating the Four Noble Truths, that is the long course of birth and death, has been passed through and undergone by me as well as by you." That means Chatunam Bhikkhave Arya Satchanam, Arya Satchasa Ananubodha Appativeda. Evamidang digamadhanang sandhavitang sansaritang mamang evatumha kancha. Because of unknowing and unrealizing the Four Noble Truths, we are driven and navigating in this samsara. What are those? What are these four? Dukkha such as ananubodha pativeda evamidang digamadhanang sandhavitang sansarita. Because of unknowing and unrealizing the noble truth of suffering, noble truth of stress, we are driven and navigating in this samsara. And because unknowing and unrealizing of this cause of the suffering, we are driven and navigating in this samsara. Because of unknowing and unrealizing of the cessation of the stress, suffering, we are still driven, and we are still navigating in this samsara. And because of unrealizing and not pretending of the way to cease the suffering, that this long course of birth and death has been passed through and undergone by me as well as by you. Thus it was said by the Blessed One and the Happy One, the Master, further said, Chatunnang Ariya Sajjanang Yatha Bhutang Adhasana Sangsithang Digamadhanang Tasu Tassa Cheva Jatisu Thani Ethani Dittani Bhaventi Samohata Uchinna Mulang Dukkhasa Natti Dhani Punabhavoti. That means, through not seeing the Four Noble Truths, long was the filthy path from birth to birth. When these are known, remove the birth's cause, the root of sorrow, plucked, then ends rebirth. So, dear ones, that is what I told you in the before sermons. Nibbana is not a place, Nibbana is not a thing. When the Lord Buddha understands and become the Buddhahood, while he's sitting down at the Bodhi tree, he was feel like this. There is two things the ordinary people can't understand. What are those? Idappaccata paticca and sabba sankhara samatha. That is, the dependent origination, the law of dependent arising, and the stealing of all preparations. These two, very hard to understand. What is the law of dependent arising? Itemasming satidang hoti, imasupadayadang upachati. Imasming asatidang nuhoti, imasanirodayadang niruchati. This being, this comes to be. With the arising of this arises. This not being, this does not comes to be. With the cessation of this ceases. This is the law. That means we are taking everything. Now listen very carefully. We are taking everything as a reality, as a real thing. But those everythings find a footing on our mind because of the ignorance. Because of the ignorance, we take the all visual sounds and the other things as real things. But once we understand, once there is no ignorance, there is no footing to consciousness, there is no footing to six sense basis, there is no footing to contact, there is no footing to feelings. Because Lord Buddha has preached the Arahant, the enlightened one, already sees the contact, feelings, consciousness, six sense basis while he is living. That means those things will not find a footing. Not like blinding eyes, so removing ears, not like that. Yes, it will not find a footing. That is the stage. People can't understand the law of dependent arising, and people can't understand the stilling of all preparations. They can't understand what is called Nibbana. Nibbana means etang santang, etang panitang, yadidang sabba sankhara samato, sabbupati nisago, tanhakkayo, virago, nirodho, nibbana. This is peaceful, this is excellent, namely the stilling of all preparations, the relinquishment of all assets, the destruction of craving, detachment, cessation, that is called Nibbana. Like extinguishing of an oil lamp, stilling of all mental preparations, relinquishment of all assets like body, sensations, perceptions, volitional activities, and consciousnesses, relinquishment of those all, and destruction of craving, the cessation, detachment, and the cessation of concept of existence. That is Nibbana. Ordinary people can't understand this. So, but if someone knows the noble truths, he will unplug the craving. So the roots of sorrow plucked to the ends of rebirth. Dear ones, I'll tell you a little example. So listen carefully. Now you are hearing to my sound. The summary of the Buddhism and the goal of the Buddhism is 100% awareness. When you think about past or the future, you are thinking, I am avoiding the real past and I am avoiding the real future. But it is wrong. You can't avoid the past. You can't avoid the future. Why? Because there is no past, there is no future. Always you are in here and now. You have no any past to avoid. You have no any future to avoid. You just have to live in here and now. Past mean just a thought what arises in your mind, just a memory. Future means the idea what arises in this very moment. So you have a cognition each and every time. One cognition to one cognition. Your mind shows you there's a world, here's I am. Now you are hearing my sound, you feel I am who's listening. Then your attention goes to the wall, then you conceive I'm the person who is seeing. Once you got a thought, you're conceiving a person who's thinking. So the concept of I, concept of self, and the concept of world always arise in here and now. I'll give you two kind of statements. Listen carefully, yeah? For an arahant, for an enlightened one, he always look at the world arise on him like unconceived duality, conceived infertile duality, which creates inner cognition. He look at the world as a conceived duality, a mind-created duality, which creates biocognition. Mind-created infertile duality, useless duality, which creates inner cognition. But an ordinary people, they look at the world. If I cognize or not, there is real world and real I am. That is the idea of normal people. I'll give you two comparisons to understand this. Wise people can understand by the comparisons. Once you look at your face in front of a mirror, you're on the mirror. After that, you call to your mother or father. Then you keep him in front of the mirror and you go some another place. After that, if you think, still my reflection on the mirror, is it true or false? It is false. Mirror can reflect only what is in front of it. Once you go to some another side, your reflection will not be there. So if you think, if you conceive, still I am on the mirror, it is an illusion. And another comparison, now you are hearing to my sound. While you're hearing, sometimes your mind goes to some another thoughts. After a few seconds, you again gain your attention. Then you think, I missed that words, I missed that sentence before. There is an actual sentence, there is an independent sentence. It was there, but I missed it. But dear ones, that statement is wrong. There is no sentence, there is no sound without your cognition. In that time, your world arose according to your thought. After that, if you think there is a real sound, I missed it, what is it? It is just a thought what arises in your mind. Nothing else. It is just a thought. You are not experiencing that missed words. You are not experiencing the missed sentence. You're just experiencing a thought. Make this statement as the theme of your life. The all is eye, visuals, ears, sounds, nose, smells, tongue, tastes, body, tangibles, and mind and thoughts. Nothing else. All mean those 12 things, nothing else. The ones, there is two kind of things. One is mind knowing things. Another thing is mind unknowing things. In the Buddhism, especially in Sutta Pitaka, it is talking about mind knowing things. Because if something do not know by the mind, does not know by the mind, it is not make any sense. Because there's no suffering if something doesn't know by the mind, there's no problem. There's no suffering, no stress. So always Buddhism focused in mind knowing things according to our experiences. I think we can gain a new word, experiencism. It's based on experience. What we are experiencing. One by one, 1 second to 1 second, we are experiencing something. Try to understand it. So now I tell you, contemplate your breath. Now you can feel your breath. While you're sleeping and while you're listening, there is also a physical breath. It is the side of mind, unknowing side. It will not make any sense to suffer. So we are talking about always mind knowing things. Now we are conceiving, oh, this is my breath and I am feeling it. That is a thought. You can't experience the real breath. You can't label an established or an independent breath. You're always conceiving a thought. That's why Lord Buddha had preached these eyes, visuals, ears, sounds, all kind of those things are sankatang, abhisanchetetang, kaya dhammang, vaya dhammang, viraga dhammang, nirodha dhammang. Those all are preparated and preparated by own thoughts. Abhisanchetetang, preparated by own thoughts. Like I again mentioned, there is a robot who has an artificial intelligence. He can see the world through the cameras. He can hear the sounds by the microphones. He can sense the world by the senses. Now he will have an idea. There is a real world and I'm living in this world. Is it true or not? I say you once, there is no power to say like this to a robot. Because that is just data, what arised in the robot's programming. It is just a data. He can't think there is a real world. If how many times if he think this is the world, one by one, all things are datas. All things are programmings. As same as this. For the humans also same. We can't experience an individual and established world. We're always experiencing a cognition. One by one, one by one, one by one. 1 second to 1 second. In the ancient India, in the logical people, there is a kind of questions what has 4 sides. We call it in Pali, Chatukkotika Panya. Chatukkotika. Chatukkotika means 4 sides. As an example, some people were asking from Lord Buddha, is the world existing? He said, the question is wrong. Isn't world existing? This question also wrong. Either world exists or no exist. That question also wrong. Then again ask, neither world exists, no one exists. This question also wrong. And Lord Buddha has preached, preparations are arising, preparations are ceasing, suffering is arising, suffering is ceasing. Why? Once who comprehend, once who understand the arising of the world in this very moment. Now you are hearing my sound. By this sound, you feel there's a sound. I am listening. After 1 second, you again feel the wall. Then you feel the person who sees. So once the world appears in a one cognition, once who look at this arising, he can't say there is no world. But as a person who look at the cessation of this hearing and the next arising of the seeing, then that means there's two experiences. One is you are hearing my sound, then after that you feel the wall. Now you make the concept a person who hearing. Next second you make the concept who's seeing. So once you look at the arising of person who hearing, you can't say there is no world. Once you look at the cessation of hearing and the next arising of seeing, you can't say there is a world. Yes or not, or either or neither will not valid anymore. The only answer is preparations are arising, preparations are ceasing. Stress is arising, stress is ceasing. In this very moment, 1 second to 1 second, take your mindfulness 1 second to 1 second to your experience. Now you are hearing, taking 1 second to 1 second, again and again. Gain it, gain your mindfulness. Now realize it. Now you can understand that is just a cognition. But the diluted mind shows you a duality. After you cognized it, there is an actual sound and I am listening. But those are conceivings, not the truth. Those are thoughts. The mind knowing sound is preparation of own thoughts. And the mind-knowing person who listening or mind-knowing ear is a preparation of thoughts. So we just have cognitions, but our mind shows us dualities. That makes an existence. Because of the ignorance, mind shows the duality. Because of the craving, we are clinging, we are grasping them. We are go through that delusion. That is why Lord Buddha has preached, the ignorance is our father, the craving is our real mother. We have to kill them both. Again, I will tell that two statements. An arahant, an enlightened one, has an infertile, useless duality, infertile, useless eye and visuals, which creates by a cognition. But ordinary people have actual and established real world and real I, real me, if I cognized or not. You think like that. But it's a conceiving, it's a thought. You conceive or cognize or not, there is a world, here is I am. But it is a thought. It is not reality. How many times you think like that, it's just a thought. You can't experience it individually, independently. That is why Lord Buddha has preached. Once Vinyanang Anidhasanang Anantang Sabbato Pabang Etapo Chapativi Tejo Vayo Naghazati Etadi Kancharasan Chanuntu Lang Subha Subhang Etana Manchuru Panchase Sang Purujati Vinyana Sanirodhena Etetham Upurujati. Once the cognition becomes non-reflective, non-manifestive, it will not mix things, just cognitions. When the cognition becomes without reflecting, without conceiving as things, then there is the liquidity, solidity, temperature, and air will not find a footing. In once it becomes non-reflective, there is no way to say long, short, good, bad, far, and near. Can't. All things just cognize, cognition, conscious. The name and form, the external things and naming of the mind will stop. Vijnana sanirodhinetthang purujyati. By the cessation of consciousness, cognition, everything will finish off. So, if I tell it summarizedly, you have to be in here and now, 1 second to 1 second. You have to gain your mindfulness again and again to this very moment. Once you gain your mindfulness again and again, you have no time to conceive dualities. You don't have time to catch to the ignorance as real world and real I. So keep it in your mind. And Then the Venerable Ananda approached the Blessed One and, after greeting him respectfully, sat down at one side, and he said to the Blessed One, "Here in Nandika, Lord, there have passed away the Bhikkhu Salha and the Bhikkhuni Nanda. Likewise, there have passed away the layman Sudatta and the laywoman Sujata. Likewise, the layman Kakuda, Kalinga, Nikata, Katisabha, Kutta, Santutta, Baddha, and Subadha. What is their destiny, Lord? What is their future state, further state?" The Lord Buddha reply, "The Bhikkhu Salha Ananda, through the destruction of the trains attains in this very lifetime, he attained to the trained free deliverance of the mind and deliverance through wisdom, having directly known and realized it by himself." That means he has become an arahant. And the Bhikkhuni Ananda, through the destruction of 5 lower fetters that behind beings to the words of the senses, has arisen spontaneously among the Sudarsana deities and will come to final cessation in that very place, not liable to return from that world. That is, he has become non-returner, anagami. She is become. The layman Sudatta Ananda, through his destruction of 3 fetters, self-belief, doubt, and faith in efficacy of rituals and observances, at the lessening of lust, hatred, and delusion, he becomes a one returner, and he is bound to make an end of suffering after having returned but once more to this world. The laywoman Sujata Ananda, through the destruction of 3 fetters, has become a stream enterer, and she is from falling into status of he is safe from falling into the states of misery, assured and bound for enlightenment. The layman Kakuda Ananda, through destruction of 5 fetters, 5 lower fetters that bind beings to the words of this world of the senses, has arisen spontaneously among the Sudarsana deities and will come to the final cessation in that very place, not able to return from that world. That means he is non-returner anagami. So it is with Kalinga, Nikata, Katisabha, Tutta, Sudatta, Baddha, and Subadha, and with more than 50 laymen in Nandika village, more than 90 laymen who have passed away in Nandika, Ananda, through the destruction of 3 fetters and listening of lust, hatred, and delusion, have become once returners and are bound to make an end of suffering after having returned but once more to this world. More than 500 laymen who have passed away in Nandika village, Ananda, through the complete destruction of 3 fetters, have become stream enterers and are safe from falling into the state of misery, assured and bound for enlightenment. What are the 10? There is 10 fetters, dear ones, which bind us to the samsara. That is, there is lower 5 fetters and 5 higher fetters. Lower fetters are self-identity, the sakkaya ditthi, then the doubt on in the Dhamma and the Buddha, and the grasping of wrong kind of precepts and practices, Silabbata Paramasa, and the Kama Raga Patika, sensual desires and ill will. Those are the lower 5 fetters. Once someone become an stream enterer, Sotapanna person, he will totally free from these first 3 fetters. Self-identity, he 100% understands there is no self, there is no soul in the body, in the sensations, in the perceptions, and the volitional activities and consciousnesses. There is no self in those 5 things. He completely understands this. Then he become a stream enterer. Once he understands this, there is no doubt on the Dhamma. He knows the real practice, he knows the real path, he knows the real precepts, so he don't need to go to the wrong precepts and practices. How? He knows I have to be in here and now again and again without taking the duality as world and me. So if there's no that ignorance, there is no lust or hatred. He is free from the world. He overcome from the world. He overcome from the stress and unsatisfaction. So after that, again and again, he practicing in Satara Satipatthana, the 4 Satipatthanas, the mindfulness elements, according to Satipatthana Sutta. His lust and ill will, the sensual desires and ill will reduce 50%. Then he become an once returner. He only returned to this world one time, this world or heaven. After that, he practicing again and again, and he fulfill the 4th jhana. Once someone fulfilled the 4th jhana, his breath will stop. He can't hear any sounds anymore. His heartbeat will stop. Those are the 3 things we can really understand he become into the 4th jhana correctly or not. Is his 4th jhana a real jhana or illusion? If there's a real 4th jhana, there's no way to hear sounds, there's no way to hear to heartbeat, or there's no way to feel the breath. So after he fulfilled the 4th jhana, at least 4th jhana, within any kind of meditation, by any kind of meditation, his sensual desires and ill will totally vanish, totally cease. By now look at the theory. Once you have now you have the comprehension about get rid from the illusion, and now you're practicing the concentration to keep that wisdom again and again inside your life. So once your concentration become fulfilled, your comprehension, your wisdom also will continuously working. So then you become an anagami, non-returner. Then you will become in an anagami Brahma's places. So after that, there is 5 kind of higher fetters for the those have to get rid from the arahants. Those are passion for the form, passion for what is formless, and conceit, restlessness, and ignorance. Passion for the form means once someone practice the jhanas to become an anagami, become an once non-returner, he gets some passion to become passion to the meditation objects. So now he have to get rid from that passion also, the meditation passion also, and the perception of having a body feeling a body. Now you have to get rid from that passion. After that, still you have the balance of uh, you have a passion to formless concentrations, that like boundless uh, sky, boundless space, or the boundless consciousness, or boundless nothingness, or the neither perception or non-perception, or like kind of formless jhanas. So you have to cut off those also. And you have a little conceit about there is you already understood there is no I am or no self or no soul in the body, sensations, perceptions, volitional activities, and consciousness. But you have a little idea is somewhere I am in somewhere. You can't say I am in here, but you have just an idea. I am somewhere. I am like that. I'm in somewhere. Like uh, so after that he have to cease it. After that there's a restlessness. The anagami person also have a nature of thought coming, thought arising, automatically thoughts arising in his mind. So once his wisdom and concentration are fulfilled 100%, once someone become an arahant, the automatic autogenic thoughts will cut off. And finally the ignorance totally, like now you are come up to the from the muddy pond, but just you have some mud in your body. Now you have to wash it. After that, like likewise the ignorance as taking world and I, taking real things. Because if you look at your phone, there is a cognition, but as a work of this cognition your mind shows there's a phone, here is I am. And once you breathe in that time also there's just a cognition of body, but you feels there's an breath, here is my nose, here is my body, like that way. You always conceiving the things, external and internal things, as actual and independent things, but it is wrong. All things arise in a cognition or a consciousness. So once you totally free from the ignorance, now that is the nibbana. So I wish you all to attain the supreme bliss of nibbana in this very life. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Is there any questions?
काही प्रश्न आहेत का? Bhante,
Yes.
this is a Mahaparinibbana sutta. So, Bhante, not take the process when the Lord Buddha enter into the Nibbana.
Sorry.
The Lord Buddha's last days, it is also included into this
Yes,
Mahaparinibbana
yes,
sutta.
yes. Of course, of
Yeah, that.
course.
Yeah.
Still ready to the nibbana, to Mahaparinibbana.
Uh-huh.
Just his last times, how it was.
So,
It is so long, very big sutta.
so do we have to take or not, Bhante?
But
It's so long.
the story, um, I think,
Because this is the part of this sutta, right, Bhante?
yes, yes.
That Lord Buddha goes there and
The same sutta. Same
Yes.
sutta, very big. It explains his all last moments,
Yeah.
how it happens.
Because Lord Buddha enter first to 8 jhana, then goes to the bag, and then again come back
It
to
is
the
in the
fourth
fourth
jhana.
one. It is in
Yes.
the last time.
Yes. Yes. Okay. No problem. कुणाला काही प्रश्न आहेत का? या बंद.
Okay, so we can transfer the merits to the gods
Yeah.
and the beings who are needed. Chant with me. So today we discussed, once we share the merits, so the gods will be grateful for us, and they will uh, take care as a mother who loves to her own son. So like that we can share the merits. Ettavata cha mehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata cha mehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata cha mehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe sattanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahitthika punyantang anumodhitva chirang rakhantu sambuddha sasanam. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahitthika punyantang anumodhitva chirang rakhantu sambuddha desanam. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahitthika punyantang anumodhitva chirang rakhantu sambuddha savakam chirang rakhantu mang paranti. We can share the merits to our late relatives. Idang me ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idang me ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idang wo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. We can do our wish to separate from the bad people and associate with good people until we attain the Nibbana. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava Nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava Nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mame phala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana bhattiya. Idang me punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamujjatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu.